Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, news has broke this week that Matchroom Eddie Hearn have signed Edgar Berlanga. Now, of course Edgar Berlanga, when he turned pro with Top Rank, and he had his first 20 fights with Top Rank. Initially, there was a lot of hype surrounding Edgar Berlanga. I saw many people proclaim this guy to be the next Puerto Rican superstar. However, in recent fights, that hype has died down. He's now had a series of, I would say, unimpressive performances. Of course, his first 16 fights, he won all by knockout, all by first round knockout. But yeah, his last 4 fights have all gone the distance, and as I say, I don't think Edgar Berlanga has looked that great in those fights. In fact, against Marcelo Esteban Caceres, he arguably lost that fight. And you know, it's not like Caceres is any great shakes, you know, he's not like a top 10 super middleweight. I mean, yes, he gave Billy Joe Saunders trouble, but Billy Joe Saunders stopped that guy, right? And yeah, I mean, Caceres in that fight, he gave Berlanga a bit of movement, he showed him a jab, he showed him lateral movement, and to me, Berlanga looked lost. In fact, he got dropped in that fight, if memory serves me correct. So yeah, the last few fights haven't really been that impressive for Berlanga, and his split with Top Rank seemed to be mutual, I would say. I think, from what I heard, Top Rank really wanted to hold him back, give him more development fights, considering how he's been looking, whereas Berlanga, on the other hand, wants to target the big fights. He's now signed with Eddie Hearn. What do I make of his signing? Berlanga is a guy who seems to sell some tickets in New York. He's a talker, he's brash, and he'll generate some interest, no doubt about it, but according to the press release, Berlanga signed with Dazn and Eddie Hearn with view to a potential Canelo Alvarez fight. It seems that the plan basically is to fatten him up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Well, if that is the case, then we can't really expect Edgar Berlanga to fight anybody of note anytime soon, because the way he's been looking, if they want him to get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez intact, then they need to match this guy extremely carefully, because as of right now, if this guy takes a slight step up from the competition he's been fighting, bear in mind, he's having close fights with the likes of Steve Rolls, arguably been getting beaten by Caceres. If he takes a slight step up from that, more than likely, well, there's a very good chance this guy gets beat. So, more than likely, we'll see Edgar Berlanga on a bit of a bum bash, quite frankly, which is disappointing. I hope that's not the case. I hope they, you know, throw him in there with some good opponents, but from what I've heard, I can't really count on that, to be honest. I mean, a fight I would like to see personally, let's ignore Canelo, I would really like to see Edgar Berlanga versus Jaime Munguia. Munguia has spoken about going to 168. In fact, his last fight, I believe, was a catchweight at like 163, 164, something like that. Edgar Berlanga versus Jaime Munguia would be a great fan-friendly fight. Mexico versus Puerto Rico, those guys are more evenly matched, I would say, and that would be fireworks. But putting Berlanga in with Canelo Alvarez anytime soon is just going to be a mismatch, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, I think honestly, as a fight fan who wants to see competitive fights, I've got no interest in Canelo versus Berlanga. Berlanga would have to show crazy signs of improvement for me to be interested in that fight. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's a weird one. I think it's a good signing in regards to, Berlanga. He's a ticket seller. Dare I say, quite exciting. He's got an exciting style, things of that nature. But I wouldn't really be laying any real plans with Berlanga. I wouldn't be counting on this guy to make it to a certain level to get big fights. I'd be using Berlanga on big cards in fun matchups on the undercard, like pay-per-view fights, Canelo Alvarez undercards, for example. Get this guy in there with competitive opponents. And yeah, if he wins, he wins, he loses, but he could have one of those careers to where, despite the amount of losses, he's always welcomed by fans due to his fun style. Think of someone like Gabriel Rosado, for example. But yeah, the fact that they're kind of giving Edgar Berlanga the red carpet treatment, I don't really think's great for boxing fans. If that is the case, like I said, this guy is going to fight absolutely nobody in the foreseeable future. And yeah, that's what his priority seems to be. He seems to be, more so than trying to build a legacy and build his resume and earn shots, Berlanga seems to just want that one cash-out fight. And he has targeted Canelo Alvarez. So yeah, it is what it is. What do you think of this signing? Do you believe this signing could be a diamond in the rough? Or like me, do you see a very obvious ceiling with Edgar Berlanga? I honestly, I was never on board with the Berlanga hype. And given his recent performances, I don't see Berlanga ever really being anything special, to be honest. Good signing, a good fighter to have in your roster, but yeah, nobody wants to see this long build-up to a potential Canelo fight, because we all know how that fight would go. Berlanga has no chance. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan, but Canelo goes through Edgar Berlanga like a doorway. So yeah, it is what it is. Share your thoughts below. What do you make of this signing? Peace.